I really have to say, today is one of those days where I am so happy to be home from work. I'm home a little bit late tonight. After work, I went out shopping. I got a couple of things for the angel tree that we're doing at work. Our gifts are due by Monday. And since I'm an incredibly anxious person, I was like, okay, I got to get my stuff done by Friday. So I went and did that tonight, and now I'm home. I'm having some dinner, and I'm so excited to dive back into my book that I'm reading. Yes, I'm happy to say that I finally started diving into Good Spirits. But I guess before we really get into the reading aspect of this video, I should fill you in on what's been going on since last weekend. So on Saturday, we made the very interesting choice to go to Target. I was really looking for a Christmas tree skirt, and I really had no idea where to find one, so we did wind up picking one up by Home and Hearth, which I think is the Chip and Joanna Gaines brand. It's really cute. It's a classic Christmas plaid, and I really like it. I wound up getting a throw blanket as well for the armchair that we have in our dining room because I thought it would match nicely. I also picked up from the dollar spot, I picked up a couple of cute little plushies that are Christmas themed because we're having a cubicle decorating contest at work. So I don't really know what my theme is going to be. I don't even know if I'm going to have a theme, but I guess the theme is going to be cute. Yeah, cute stuff for Christmas. I think that will be my theme. But I'm going to insert a little bit of B-roll footage here because I want to show you what my cubicle looks like. I have some plants, I have some plushies, I have a cute dog calendar. So I don't know, I'm feeling good about it. I'm definitely not going to win the contest or anything, but I wouldn't say I'm competing. I just like to have like a cute and festive workspace for the holiday season. What's the word? I spoiled myself this month and I got 2 books. I wound up picking up Good Spirits, and then I also wound up picking up a thriller called Best Offer Wins. So I'm going to enter a little bit of footage here that I wound up recording yesterday while I was in the car before work. And I had read about half of Best Offer Wins by that point, and I was so engrossed in the story, and then I wound up finishing it last night. So let me enter that footage here. I'll show it to you real quick, and then I'll go into my final thoughts. Good morning. I am updating you from the car. Sometimes on Wednesdays I stop for breakfast at Panera on my way to work, and today I'm feeling especially motivated and awake. So I figured I'd update you on what I'm reading right now. On Monday I got my book of the month package, and I actually picked 2 books this month. I picked Good Spirits by B.K. Borison, and I also picked this book called Best Offer Wins. I forget the author's name, but I will show a picture of it here. My intention was to start reading Good Spirits last night because my sister-in-law, Marissa, is also reading Good Spirits right now, and it would be fun to talk about it with her over Christmas. So that was my initial intention, but I wound up picking up Best Offer Wins last night just because I was really intrigued by the premise, and I thought, hey, you know, thrillers are usually quick reads for me because once I start reading them, I don't want to put them down. So I figured, well, I'll finish this one first and then I will move on to Good Spirits. Very interesting. If you can't tell, it's about a couple who lives in Maryland, kind of I'm not super familiar with Maryland, but it seems like they live in the Washington, D.C., in the vicinity of it. So it can be like a very affluent area. It's an area where people are really fighting for real estate. And so at the beginning of the story, we meet a woman named Margot, and she's having a very difficult time right now. She's trying to get pregnant with her husband. She's looking for a house. She's very unhappy with her life and just everything that's going on. And she kind of is in this state where she's like, if we can get the house that we want, this will fix everything. And of course, that's not actually how life works, but basically she is so desperate for a house that she gets some intel from her realtor about a couple who is currently living in the neighborhood that she wants to live in, and she gets some intel that they are going to be moving. This is where things get weird. She somehow tracks down the couple, and she decides that she's going to befriend them, and by befriending them, she thinks that she can get them to sell their house to her and her husband. That's all I'm really going to say because I think this is such an interesting story, and it's also very, like, I think it's very relatable in a weird way, where the main couple, they live in Maryland, and they were living in a small row home during, you know, right around when the pandemic hit, And so right when COVID happened, they decided to sell their house because they're like, this is the time, this is when we need to sell because we can get the most money out of our house. And the intention was that they were going to sell their house and then, you know, live in an apartment for a month or two while they found their new home. But the market, you know, it just exploded at that time. And now 18 months later, they're still living in the apartment that they don't want to live in. And it's like every time they put an offer on a house, it just gets so expensive. People outbid each other. There's like 20 plus offers. And there are the people that, you know, can pay all cash, which is crazy. Like I said, it's a pretty affluent area. So I can understand their frustration, and I can also understand how when you want something so bad for so long, it kind of like hurts you mentally in a way, or it's like the main character, Margot, she's not okay, and it's very clear that she's not okay. And so I'm about maybe a quarter of the way into the story so far, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens. Anyway, I'd better eat my breakfast and then head into the office, but I might get a little bit of reading done during lunch today, and if not, I hope to make a better dent on this tonight when I get home. So yeah, I wound up coming home from work last night. I had leftovers for dinner. I dove right back into my book because I just had to know how it was going to end. The funny thing about Best Offer Wins is that the main character is awful, terrible, evil, some might say. But there's something about her that's so intriguing. And I think that's part of why she was able to manipulate her husband so well throughout this book. But then again, she really manipulated everybody. There was so much going on, and she really could, you know, figure out how to get her way in the end in almost every situation. That's really all I want to say about this story, because it's really important that you don't really know anything about it, because it just goes in so many different directions that I never expected. You really don't expect a character to be so evil, and then when they are so evil, they really surprise you. So yeah, I'm glad that was my first book of December. It was a 5-star read for me, and I will drop a link in the description if you're interested in checking it out. I'd highly recommend if you're a fan of like psychological thrillers. This one was really fun and so strange. So strange. And of course, after I finished Best Offer Wins, I had to pick up my copy of Good Spirits. I've been looking forward to this for a while, and I forget, I think I mentioned somewhere, actually it must have been in my car footage from yesterday, I mentioned that my sister-in-law is currently reading this book. Her hold came in at her library that she works at. And so I was so excited when my book of the month came in, because I'm like, oh man, we can read the book at the same time and then talk about it at Christmas. I'm only a couple of chapters in so far. I first picked it up during lunch today. I had about 20 minutes left in my lunch break, so I decided to start reading it. And it's really funny so far. I've never read anything by this author. And I know that she wrote Love Light Farms a couple of years ago, which I think is also a Christmas romance. So that is also on my TBR list. So I think if I really like this one, maybe I will try to pick up that one next. I'm pretty sure I saw it in my library on the Libby app. I think they have a copy of it that I could check out. But if not, I'll do a little bit of perusing online, and maybe I know somebody who can lend me a copy. Who knows? So that's the plan for this evening. I am going to finish my dinner. I'm going to make a dent in my book, and then I think I'm going to go to the gym for a little bit. I'm not sure. I think I have a bunch of YouTube videos to catch up on, so I think I'll watch those while I'm at the gym tonight. That sounds like a good plan. Hey everybody, it has been a few weeks since I filmed for this vlog, and the reason for that is that it's December, it's Christmas, there's just a lot going on, and I have actually been reading, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the books that I finished, and I just wanted to, you know, film a little bit and close out this vlog so that I can get started on the next one. I have some reading vlogs that I want to film, towards the end of the month and into the new year, but I need to finish this one first. Real quick, I do want to show you my new jigsaw puzzle that I'm working on. It's a Christmas puzzle, so I'm hoping to work on that a little bit tomorrow during the day. But yeah, like I said, I have a couple of things that I want to talk to you about today. The first thing is that I did wind up finishing Good Spirits, and it was so good. It was a really lovely Christmas romance novel. It made me really happy because although I really liked the romance, I really liked the magical aspect of the book as well. I can't remember, I could look back at my footage, but I'm probably not going to. So I can't remember what I told you before, but Good Spirits is about a young woman named Harriet who winds up meeting the ghost of Christmas past. His name is Nolan, and he is on a mission to help her figure out what's gone wrong in her life. But that might not actually be the case. It might be the other way around, where she's supposed to help him find his true meaning. So it was a really nice book. I really enjoyed it. This was my first time reading anything by B.K. Borison, and I know that I was such a fan. I know that I want to read everything that she comes out with next. So I'm hoping that in the new year I can get signed up for the local library, get my library card, and hopefully start, checking out those books or maybe finding audiobooks on Libby. The other thing that I wanted to talk about before I close out this video is what I'm reading next. The next book is called Will This Make You Happy by Tanya Bush, and this is a memoir all about baking and finding oneself, so I'm really looking forward to checking that one out. I'm a couple chapters in so far, so I will update you fully once I've completed it. And the last book I wanted to talk about is another one on my December TBR list. It's called Molka by Monica Kim, and it's very creepy. It's about voyeurism and hidden cameras, which apparently is something that happens a lot more frequently than I thought it did. The story takes place in Korea, and it's told from the perspective of two different characters. One is the watcher, one is the watchee, for lack of a better term, and it's very interesting. I'm about a third of the way through the book. I started reading it last night and I just couldn't put it down, so I did wind up getting through about a third of the story. It's very interesting, but it's very unsettling. It makes me a little uncomfortable, but also I'm very intrigued, and I feel like this is a thriller, so I'm waiting to see, I feel like something drastic is going to happen, something bad that, spurns the characters, and I don't know what's going to happen, and it does make me nervous, but sometimes that's a good thing when it comes to thriller books. So I am going to keep reading that one, and I will make sure to give you a full update as well as review it on the blog once I'm done. This is a NetGalley arc, actually. The book isn't coming out until sometime in 2026. So I guess you'll have to wait a while for my full thoughts, but I will make sure to share those in another video. Okay, I'm a little tired. I just got home from my company's Christmas party, so I thought I would record this real quick. I have to go do some shopping tonight. I have to get some things at the grocery store for Christmas baking. I'm baking a pecan cheesecake to take to a Christmas party tomorrow. I also want to make some M&M cookies for here at home for me to enjoy. And I need to finish up some last minute Christmas shopping. So I think that's it for this video. Sorry it's a little disjointed. I had meant to film everything all together, but like I said, I just got busy and I have been reading, but I just haven't been documenting it very well. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will be back next week with another vlog. Maybe I'll vlog a little bit of Christmas. Maybe I'll show you. I have gotten some books for different family members in my life. So if you're interested in seeing what Christmas books I bought for people, let me know and I might share that in an upcoming video. But yeah, that is it for now, and I will see you next time.